भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो 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 भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, entitled Questions by the Sages, and verse number 2. Dharma prochita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon moolanam Srimad-Bhagavate Mahamunikrite kim va parair ishvaraha sadyo hridyavrudyate atra kritibhi shushrushubish takshanat. Translation: completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavata Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. Purport: in the lower stages of human civilization, there is always competition to lord it over the material nature, or in other words, there is a continuous rivalry to satisfy the senses. Driven by such consciousness, man turns to religion. He thus performs pious activities or religious functions in order to gain something material. But if such material gains are obtainable even in other ways, then the so-called religion is neglected. This is the situation in modern civilization. Man is thriving economically, so at present he is not very interested in religion. Churches, mosques or temples are now practically vacant. Men are more interested in factories, soaps and cinemas than in religious places which are erected by their forefathers. This practically proves that religion is performed for some economic gains. Economic gains are needed for sense gratification. Often when one is baffled in the pursuit of sense gratification, he takes to salvation and tries to become one with the Supreme Lord. Consequently, all these states are simply different types of sense gratification. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dharma prochita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon moolanam Srimad-Bhagavate Mahamunikrite kim va parair ishvaraha sadyo hridyavirudyate atra kritibi shushrushubish takshanat. Translation: completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavata Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. Hare Krishna. So in this verse, now, as in the yesterday's class we discussed, this is like a introduction, preface or forward of Bhagavatam. What is the content of Bhagavatam? So Bhagavatam is not like ordinary religious book or something like that. So Bhagavatam is in Bhagavatam a distinction between real religion and pretentious religion has been clearly made. So in the translation it is mentioned that all the materially motivated religious principles are kicked out from Bhagavatam. So many are posing as religious people, but ultimately their aim is sense gratification. So that is the in this today's purport, that is the point it is mentioned, that ultimately everyone's aim is sense gratification, but they are using a religious system, or they are using religion to satisfy their sense gratification. That is the point. So whether they are religious or irreligious, the point is sense gratification. Some are doing it religiously and some are doing it irreligiously. But in Bhagavatam, this type of cheating type of religion is kicked out. So in the name of religion they are practicing, but they neglect the essence of religion. So the essence of religion they are not able to understand, but the main motive for them is to enjoy the sense gratification by practicing religion. This is cheating actually. So everyone came here to this material world to enjoy sense gratification independent of Krishna. So we are facilitating this desire in the name of religion. It is just sense gratification, but we are doing it in a, it's like a patchwork. Some damage happened and then we are just patching it in the name of religion. So the ultimate aim is sense gratification. So the real religion of a living being is inbuilt quality, whereas pretentious religion is a form of nescience that artificially covers the living entity's pure consciousness under certain unfavorable conditions. So the real religion that is there in us, inbuilt, but that is eternal. Eternally it is there, but it is covered now because of that enjoying tendency, that desire, because it is covered. So the real form of religion is spontaneous loving service to the Lord, Krishna. So this relationship of living being with the absolute personality of Godhead in service is eternal. It is eternal. Eternally we are servant of Lord. So in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Mamaivaamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. So everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, and eternally we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we meant to serve Krishna. So that is the eternal, that is the dharma of soul. Like Prabhupada mentions that a dharma of sugar is to be sweet. Now, if sugar tastes salty, then we cannot call it as sugar. So in same way, the living entity's dharma is to serve. So now we are not ready to serve Krishna. So now we are put into this diseased condition in this material world. We are bound by this material nature. So in this way we are serving Maya. So that serving, that dharma is there always. That is inbuilt quality of the soul. So now because of this contamination, material contamination, so we are not ready to serve Krishna and we are trying to serve Maya. We are trying to serve our senses. We are into sense gratification now. So this is the eternal nature of the soul. But if it is eternal, then why eternal means then there should not be any beginning, or there should not be any end. But now we are not serving Krishna. We are into sense gratification. We are serving Maya. But this is a temporary situation. It is covered. It is not eternally we are servant of Krishna, but we didn't realize that we are eternal servant of Krishna. It is a covered nature. So eternal we are servant of Krishna, but there should not be any beginning or end. But now we are not serving Krishna, but this doesn't mean that it is an end. Temporarily it is covered by the material nature. Temporarily we want to enjoy our senses independently of Lord, and we want to lord it over material nature. So it is a temporary covering. So when we come out of this covering, then we come to our original nature as a servant of Krishna. So it is like a real nature is there. It is dominated by a contaminated nature. So when it is dominated by a contaminated nature, it covers the original nature. The original nature is to serve Krishna, but now it is covered and it is dominated by an artificial nature that we are not servant of Krishna. So when this artificial nature covers, when that dominates the real nature, then the real nature is covered. Then we forget that we are servant of Krishna. Then we want to enjoy our own senses. Then we want to enjoy independently of Krishna. So the real form of religion is spontaneous loving service to Krishna. So that is the real nature of the soul. So by contact with material nature, the living entities exhibit varied symptoms of diseased material condition. This is not normal condition, this is diseased. So when someone takes birth as a handicapped, he thinks that this is normal. But he is in a diseased condition, but he is not able to realize that he is in a diseased condition. Whenever he wants to go somewhere, immediately he will look for his wheelchair. Where is my wheelchair? That is a nature for him. So now everyone is in diseased condition, everyone is enjoying sense gratification, everyone is serving Maya. So this we are considering as a normal condition, but this is not normal, this is diseased condition. So a living being can awaken this dormant religion by hearing with a pure heart. So in this verse also it is mentioned that dharma prochita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam. So nirmatsaranam means there is no matsarata. They are pure in heart. So then many say that Bhagavatam is meant for those people who are pure in heart, for Paramahamsas. But it is not like that. It is not meant for Paramahamsas. If someone wants to become Paramahamsas, if one is on the path to reach that goal of becoming Paramahamsas, then it is Srimad-Bhagavatam is for them. So it is said here, a living being can awaken this dormant religion by hearing with a pure heart, Srimad-Bhagavatam. So when we hear Bhagavatam, then we will become pure, then we can attain that level. So it is said, someone says, I am not able to chant properly, I am not able to chant attentively. Then the solution is chant attentively and chant properly. That is the solution. So there is no external solution. No, you do this, then you can chant nicely. Not like that. Chanting attentively is the solution for not chanting attentively. So in same way, we are in a diseased condition. So if we want to become pure, so we have to read Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is meant for pure devotees. So we read Bhagavatam in a pure, with pure heart. But our heart is not pure now, it is so much contaminated. But it doesn't mean that I will purify my heart, then I will read Bhagavatam. It is not like this. By reading Bhagavatam, we will become pure, and after becoming pure, with pure heart, we will read Bhagavatam. So in same way, like chanting. For example, So in this way, example is given, even in a bowl, a very dirty water is there. So if there is a dirty water and in that you keep on pouring pure water. So slowly the dirty water will go away, then the water will become completely pure. So already it is there, the dirty water is there, but you are pouring a pure water, but initially it becomes like dirty, it muddy or some color like that. But continuously if you pour pure water, the dirty water will go away and the pure water remains there. So when our heart is contaminated, the solution is to hear Bhagavatam. So when we hear Bhagavatam continuously, the dirtiness will go away slowly and we'll come to the real original nature, pure, we'll exhibit that pure consciousness. So in the purport it is mentioned that in the lower stages of human civilization, there is always competition to lord it over the material nature, or in other words, there is a continuous rivalry to satisfy the senses. Driven by such consciousness, man turns to religion. He thus performs religious activities or religious functions in order to gain something material. So this is in Bhagavad Gita also it is mentioned, the less intelligent people, they look for the temporary material benefits. So it is not propounded by Srimad-Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is, it gives the pure message. So the path of religion prescribed by Srimad-Bhagavatam is different from all forms of imperfect religiosity. So Bhagavatam, it is not propounding that you do this and you will get this, and it is not like this. So Bhagavatam propounds the pure spiritual message. So here we can see there are many ways people perform religious activities or religion. So like it is said, generally it is categorized into three categories: karma kanda, jnana kanda and upasana kanda. So this is all religious activities, but it is not pure religious activity. It is not meant to elevate us to pure devotional service or to revive our pure consciousness. It is not meant for that. But it is religious activity, but it is not to the ultimate level. So first one, the path of fruity work, karma kanda. So this is, they do so many yajnas and then so many rituals. Even though it is decorated by so much religious things, so much rituals, but this cannot take us away from this birth, death, old age and disease. Now, this is for some temporary benefit, temporary material benefit. So it can never relieve us from this material cycle of birth and death. It is now, if I do this yajna, then I'll get this benefit. Now in the Shastras it is mentioned, it is religious, but it is not the ultimate religious activity, the devotional service. The karma kanda, which is people want to enjoy their senses, and you do it in a religious way. It's like that. So, but a living entity perpetually struggles hard to rid himself from the pangs of material existence. So even though we get this material benefit, even though we get some satisfaction by enjoying our senses, but it doesn't satisfy the soul. The soul gets satisfied by only engaging in devotional service. When we engage in devotional service, we are satisfied, because that is the nature of the soul, to engage in devotional service. But by doing all these things, we are not satisfied, and we are struggling hard to come out of this situation. So even though we perform this karma kanda activities, but it is not satisfying that the nature of the soul, the pure consciousness. It is not able to revive that original consciousness. But the path of fruitive work leads him to either temporary happiness or temporary distress in material existence. It cannot take us to the spiritual existence, to come out of this birth, death, old age and disease, and to experience that eternal nature that karma kanda cannot give. However, even if one is put into this most perfect situation of material happiness, he cannot in that way become free from pangs of birth, death, old age and disease. By performing this karma kanda, even if we get the highest material enjoyment, like people perform this karma kanda to go to heaven. If you go to heaven, the lifespan is it's much more compared to this earthly planet. So when we go there, we enjoy there, but still it cannot give us the full satisfaction. So it is said the most perfect situation of material happiness. Even it is said, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Even if you go to the highest planet of this material world, Brahma Loka, even if you go there, you be there for some time, again you have to come back. So it cannot free us from the pangs of birth, death, old age and disease. So the fruitive work, it can never award the ultimate relief. So the second thing, if you see the path of knowledge and mystic powers, the Jnana Marga. So in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So but the real knowledge, the real Jnana is to understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So that is the real knowledge, real Jnana. So it is said, Bhahunam Janmanam, after many births, many repeated births, if you take, and Bhahunam Janmanam Ante, after many births, Jnanavan, one who is in full knowledge. If one gets the full knowledge, then Mam Prapadyati, then he surrenders to the Supreme Lord. So that is the ultimate Jnana. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samhatma Sudurlabha. If one understands that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, then it's such a great soul is very rare to find. That is Jnana. So, but now Jnana Marga, through Jnana Marga, through mental speculation or through yoga, through this Ashtanga yoga, through this asanas, we perform this, but still this is also the same, it also gives the same hazardous result. This Jnana Marga for so many lifetimes, as it is mentioned, then he will realize that the spiritual life, it constitutes activities which is devotional service. So when we engage in devotional service, then only we can come to the original nature. So this mystic powers, it can be materially powerful. It can give temporarily relief from birth, death, old age and disease. Like for example, yogis, we see, even Prabhupada says in Kumbh Mela there are many yogis come. They live for hundreds of years. Temporarily it is giving relief from birth, death, old age and disease, but it is not the permanent benefit. So therefore, according to Bhagavata school, this path of religiosity is also a method of cheating, as follows. So this kind of religion is not propounded by Srimad-Bhagavatam. So the third method is the path of worship and devotional service. The path of worship is also like they worship many demigods, and for the temporary material benefit. But the ultimately thing is they worship and then they want something from them. They want some material benefit. Ultimately the aim is sense gratification. So this system of worshipping many gods such as Durga, Shiva, Ganesha, Surya and the impersonal Vishnu form is accepted by persons who are blinded by intense desire for sense gratification. They worship them to get something. Such worship can certainly fulfill one's desires for sense gratification, and it is suitable only for less intelligent person. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, they worship demigods for some temporary material benefit, but they are, in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned that they are unintelligent people, less intelligent people. So intelligent person, a sane person, he will never be interested in this temporary material benefit. You want the eternal benefit, the fullest satisfaction you want to get. So in this purport it is mentioned that, but if such material gains are obtainable in other ways, then the so-called religion is neglected. This is the situation in modern civilization. So now in modern civilization, practically everyone wants to enjoy senses. They are into sense gratification. Some are doing it in a religious way, some are doing it in an irreligious way. But now in this modern civilization, they want to enjoy sense gratification, and they are getting it without practicing religiosity, and they are earning money, they are enjoying senses. Then why I should practice religion? So this is now the thing is going, it's mentioned in this purport, man is thriving economically, so at present he is not very interested in religion. Churches, mosques or temples are now practically vacant. Men are more interested in factories, soaps and cinemas than in religious places which were erected by their forefathers. Nobody is interested in religious activities now, because the thing is, to enjoy sense gratification. So it is said by this Charvak Muni that by hook or crook you get ghee and enjoy. That is a thing now, the modern so-called civilization. So enjoy life, enjoy sense gratification, but it is previously people were doing it in a religious way by karma kanda, by following the rituals and everything, and by that they get the result, and with that they were enjoying the fruitive results, they are enjoying the results. But now it is opposite. They are doing it in a irreligious way. Like it is mentioned, even the enjoyment can be in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. So if one enjoys in the mode of passion, so initially it may look like it's happy, good, but the result is not good. The result is it is not happy at all, and at the end we feel distress only. So in tamasic way of sense gratification, even initially we don't feel happy, and at the end also we don't feel happy. It is completely distress. So now in the so-called modern civilization, the sense gratification is going on in this way. It is not even at the initially or at the end also it is not so. Now the young boys, we can see they are into so much bad habits. With that bad habits, they know that after doing this, that we are not happy, it is completely distress only, but still they are doing it. So now there is no knowledge about this, what is sense gratification, what is the goal of life. There is no propaganda for these things. So this practically proves that religion is performed for some economic gains. So the thing is, at the end of the purport, Prabhupada says that consequently all the states are simply different types of sense gratification. So whether someone is doing karma kanda or jnana kanda, or whether somebody is not religious, they are just into economic gain. So in the conclusion is everything it's a different type of sense gratification. But this is not propounded by Srimad-Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam kicks out all this kaitava dharma. Dharma prochita kaitavatra paramo dharmatsarana. So the Bhagavatam gives the real religion, the true religion, that devotional service, engage in the service of the Lord. So it is said different types of sense gratification. This is all different types of sense gratification. We are enjoying our senses, but Bhagavatam propounds that you gratify the senses of Krishna. So that is the message given by Srimad-Bhagavatam. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevana Bhakti Ruchyate. So you satisfy the senses of Krishna, that is Bhakti. So that is the message given by Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is different from all other religious philosophy or whatever. So in that way, by doing that religious activity, we are expecting something, where the expectation is mostly sense gratification. It is, Prabhupada mentions that different types of sense gratification, but that is not the goal of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Srimad-Bhagavatam is to take us away from this material existence, to put us in our original situation as a servant of Lord. So by engaging in the service of the Lord, by satisfying the senses of Lord, then only we will be satisfied as a soul, as a servant of Lord. So Hare Krishna, any question, comments?
That Bhagavatam is so pure, so purifying and powerful. So does it matter who is speaking it? I mean, pure devotees, but maybe one advanced, one not advanced. Does it make a difference? Should we hear only from advanced people?
Yeah, it will make some differences to some extent, but the Bhagavatam itself is pure. When we hear the message of Bhagavatam, then it purifies the heart, but still it matters that from whom we are hearing it. Like Prabhupada mentions that even a milk, it looks like milk, even if the snake touched the milk. If a snake touches the milk, still it looks like milk, but still it is not considered as milk. It is very dangerous. So even Srimad-Bhagavatam, if we hear from like professional Bhagavatam reciter, then we may not get the benefit at all. So that is different category. But still, even among the devotees, some are not very elevated, some are. So in that way, the Bhagavatam itself is pure. It can purify. It's like mobile signal tower. It transmits the signal, but we have some problem in our device. So when we accept Srimad-Bhagavatam, when we hear Bhagavatam, like what to say, when we hear Bhagavatam purely, with pure intention, the Bhagavatam itself can purify us. But still, it matters from whom we are hearing. That is also there.
You mentioned that even if someone is not Paramahamsa, he should can read Bhagavatam if he is on the path, on that path. So, but in book distribution, Bhagavatam sets are given to even those people who are not at all interested in this path often. So then how we'll understand this?
Yeah, by reading Bhagavatam, they will come to the path. It is said that Paramo Nirmatsaranam, it is meant for them. But even if we are not on that level, if we are trying to come to that level, we can read Bhagavatam, then we will come to that level. If someone is not even in that path, so when they read Bhagavatam, they will come to the path and finally they will reach the destination. Anything else? Hare Krishna. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai.